Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back. We are Alignment May Vary, and today we're going to do a one-shot campaign for y'all. Jonathan, do you want to give us a little background info about?
Yeah. I won't say much about the campaign because hopefully you'll. This is my way to like hostage you guys, so you have to sit through it to actually know what the campaign's about. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Only you don't hate it at the end.
We'll see.
So I've got some feedback that you're a little quiet, Morganite, on your mic.
Yes, I will work on that.
But while she's working on that, I will say a few words. I will say that this one shot is called King of the Cats. And it's by MT Black, who is a pretty prominent game designer, module designer on DM's Guild. Releases a lot of really fun one-shots. And I've got about 24 of them. So I figured it was time to pull one out and get this going. I also wanted to say what we're really doing tonight, we're hoping to make at least a semi-regular thing, at least monthly. We've kind of took a big break from like our podcasting and stuff while I worked on some modules and we dealt with, the world and everything going on there. But I will say that our plan is to restart the bestiary coming up pretty soon here. So we're trying to plan our next episode, which will be Liches. Liches get stitches.
We have some experience with those.
Yeah, exactly. Liches give stitches. That's really what I should say. Liches give stitches. And then we also want to start doing these, and like I said, at least monthly. Just a one shot, 4 hours or so of play, once a month. Might be D&D, might be another game. It'll change every time. Even if it's D&D, it'll be different modules. And we even have some people interested in doing some guest D&D, some that I'm really excited about. So I think we've got a good thing. We're ready to get back into this. So. Very excited to start tonight with King of the Cats. And to start us off, I want to each of you just introduce your character real quick. We'll go down the left to right here. So Morganite, why don't you start? What's your character?
All right, my character's name is Willow. She's a level 2 wizard. We're all level 2. We haven't been level 2 in a very long time, so this will go well. She's a human, neutral good. She came from a noble background. Essentially, she has like all these high ambitions, and then the real world slapped her in the face real hard, and she's not really sure how to deal with that.
Awesome. And then we have Tyler here. Tyler, give us your character.
I am playing Osric. Osric is a dwarven twilight cleric. He has spent 2 levels just kind of wandering around, helping travelers, doing all that liminal deity stuff.
I like that he's a little bit unsure. You sound a little bit unsure about it. You're like, I think I believe in the gods that are giving me healing powers. That bodes well for the.
No, he believes in the gods. It's just they're very vague on what they do. He's like. Like, what do I do? Protect these travelers. Okay, what do I do next? Guide this soul to the dead. Okay, what do you do next? Make sure the sun rises. How am I supposed to do that? I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Well, hopefully we'll have not too much leading of the dead tonight. Although I'm always down. Let's go to Stalker. Stalker last. What's your character, Stalker?
I have a level 2 barbarian named Dak Umbrian, who is strong, but kind of naive and stupid, and really uncharismatic. So let's just say Dak gets into a lot of fights, doesn't know why he or she gets into a lot of fights, and basically just is really good at fighting, but is probably going to cause more problems than is.
So you're playing fantasy Mel Gibson. Okay. I'm down.
Yeah, Mel Gibson.
I was actually thinking, what's his name from Gladiator?
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe? Yeah, without the drinking, though.
Without the drinking. Oh well, then it can't
You're
be.
a barbarian.
Can't be Mel Gibson then. Definitely can't be Mel Gibson.
He's drunk. He's drunk on his own naivety. He's too stupid to realize that he should be drinking.
All right. So we've got barbarian, cleric, wizard. I like this party. We're gonna start right into this. So you guys, we'll start with this, and we'll talk about that. So you guys are in Neverwinter. Neverwinter is on the Sword Coast. It's sort of the north of the northern part. Think Oregon. It's very Pacific Northwesty. It's never quite as warm as you'd like it, but never cold enough to legitimately complain about it. And so you're in Neverwinter. The reason you're in Neverwinter is because you're getting back from a absolutely, I want to say just a failed mission, but it really should be plural. You guys have failed just numerous missions together as an adventuring party and have landed in Neverwinter absolutely dead broke. Not broken, dead. That's coming. Right now, just dead broke. Yeah. But yeah. I want to know what was your last adventure? What caused such failure?
I think we decided that we'd come back.
It was Dak.
We'd gone on what was supposed to be a really simple, just kind of escort mission. We were just carrying some merchant stuff from town A to town B, and everything went to hell. And our fourth party member got massacred, and it kind of was a wake up call that we need to figure out we need to get our stuff together because we're.
Dak picked a fight that he couldn't finish, and we lost someone.
Gotcha. Your eyes were bigger than your fists.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Gotcha.
Dak's not very bright, but he's starting to realize that maybe he's in over his head.
I am going to ask one more question. Who did Dak pick a fight with? What did Dak pick a fight with?
I'd say it was probably
an owlbear.
Yeah, it was an owlbear. He's like, I got this. He charges in, and we basically escaped by the skin of our teeth.
By leaving your earnings behind.
Yeah, basically what happened was the person that was carrying all of the goods was slower than the rest of us. That's the best way to survive out there. Just go faster than everyone else.
He was the one person in the party who had a 25-foot movement speed.
It was like a gnome or something that just couldn't keep up.
Okay, we're gonna lock that in. It was a gnome. It was Wizdork. Wizdork the gnome. Wizdork the gnome. Oh my god, he had all of your gold. Now the owlbear has that all in their belly. All right.
I thought Wizdork was a female gnome.
Well, you weren't ever sure. You never asked. You never got that close. You never got close enough to ask if it was a male or a female.
The genders do not matter.
That is true.
Is to protect travelers, not to get to know travelers.
Right. You were busy trying to figure out whether the sun rises or falls or all that other stuff.
Fortunately, I did a good job leading her soul to the Deadlands.
You guys are sitting at a tavern. Let me put on some town ambience going here. All right. You are sitting in a tavern. There's no town ambience. Now there's town ambience. You are sitting in a tavern. I've said this 3 times, so it must be true. You're in a tavern.
Each of us is sitting in a separate tavern.
yeah, there's 3 taverns. No, there's 1 tavern, and it. No. There's no big questions. There's 1 tavern. We're there. We're established this much.
Wait, but where are we?
There's 1 tavern. You're in there. The party's already split. We're starting split. So you guys are in a tavern in Neverwinter, and it's been pretty busy because in town the famous Clockwork Carnival is in town right now, performing all sorts of things. You feel a little bit awkward about it because it's run by gnomes. So you're sitting there just kind of like, maybe we shouldn't go to that.
We have no money to go to that.
And that's true. You literally just spent the last of your coin on a hot meal and some kind of beverage. And And you're sitting here just trying to figure out what to do when suddenly, up onto your table, just out of the blue, leaps a black cat. And it starts just prowling around. Like, it walks up to you, Dak, and kind of bats at your face a little bit. And then, like, and it's making, like, like really just bothered sounds. Like, it really wants your attention.
I offer it some of my food, like scritch it behind the ears, cat style.
It kind of leans into your scratching a little bit.
I asked the group, I'm like, should I fight this thing? Did you see it try to, like, punch me?
No. Cats are fine.
It's a cat. Just assume that you would win the fight against a cat. And save your strength for something that's not a cat.
Hey, Osric. Right. Osric, as you're scratching it behind the ear, you actually notice it's got a little like collar on, and on the collar is a pretty prominent like little plaque, and it's not a name. At least you don't think it's a name, because it'd be an unusual name if the name of this cat was Follow Me.
Hey.
Yeah, that is an odd name.
Check this out, guys. Willow, what do you think of this here? This is a weird name, right? Like,
can I try and use some animal handling to figure out, like...
If you can rub a cat the right way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, like, this cat, like... Are we...
I'd say you don't even have to roll for this, because you have animal handling. You as a skill, you just look at this cat and you're like... You immediately, your mind goes to like, is this a familiar or something? Because the cat is acting too smart, too intelligent, and it's definitely staring at each of you. And like, it actually does this kind of like thing where it like lifts up and like points like with its paw, like just
okay,
at the Follow Me, and then it's like, and then it leaps down off the table, looks back at you, points with the paw again, and then
it's
like
really proud of its name.
Like,
no,
it's really
I
proud.
think it actually wants us to follow it.
I'm telling you guys,
it
wants me to fight it. It's asked me to go outside and says, come.
Let's follow it, and maybe it'll take you to a fight, Dax.
I agree with at least one of you, but I've got this fine meal, adequate for the time of day that it happens to be, and this fine beverage that also fits the time of day.
You know what? It's not our fault that you take...
eat and drink them, and then we can follow the cat.
The cat jumps back up onto the table.
You're taking 4 times as long to finish your food.
The cat jumps back up on the table, Osric, and knocks over your beverage. It just shoves it off the table, and then it's like, and jumps back down.
Yeah, I'm now looking at Osric like, you see what I'm saying? This thing wants to start a fight. Why are you guys questioning this?
Yeah, so Willow's gonna get up, roll her eyes dramatically, and follow the cat.
All right.
I follow too, because I'm thinking this is going to lead to a fight.
I will grab one more bite from my plate, and then one large bite, hastily chewing it, I will follow them out into the street.
All right. Well, you guys follow the cat out, and you kind of like it's sort of it always stays like just far enough ahead of you that like you keep seeing it like disappear around a corner, you know, but then you turn the corner and it's at the next corner, just kind of like looking at you guys like, hurry it up. But you managed to keep up with it. And each of you, has any of you been, you've probably been to Neverwinter before, some of you? Any of you
I probably have. I've done a lot of traveling.
All right. Osric, I'm going to give it to you then. Just give me a quick history check. Let's do a history check.
Yeah, history check. That's going to be a dirty 20.
All right. That is perfect. So you recognize instantly that you guys are heading towards a more destitute, kind of like nasty part of town, like a part of town that's, you know, not like they tell young dwarfs to stay away from, you know. I mean, I don't know if you're a young dwarf, Osric. I don't know if you've been young in many a year.
Oh, I'm a middle-aged dwarf. I have a short, neatly cropped beard, a little salt and pepper, you know, fading at the temples.
Osric was old when the cat wars were young.
Yes.
No, okay, so you're kind of a middle-aged guy, little middle-aged dwarf. All right, well, you would not, if you had children, Osric, you would be like, don't go to this part of town.
I turn to Dak and I'm like, you shouldn't be in this part of town.
You know what? That's probably a fair point. I'm not sure Dak would respect that, but that's a fair point.
And in fact, as you're having this conversation, you realize that you've ended up in kind of this like grody little tight, narrow alley.
By the way, when I said that to him, I touched him on the arm. You now have advantage on the next initiative roll that we have.
Oh, that's good.
All right, and that's probably decent. The Osric's getting a sense that a fight might be brewing here, and in fact, you're in this alley, this especially filthy alley with garbage piled waist high on either side of you. When suddenly you just hear this voice say, "Oi, stupid cat! What are you doing? What are you doing in Danny John Jules alley?" And out from a pile of refuse, just like a pile of just garbage and junk falls down, and out like kind of kicks this just big, just huge. I mean, he's bigger than you, Dak. This guy is mighty, and you recognize that he's definitely got some ogreish blood in him, probably more than less. And he kind of like squints his eyes and rubs his head as if he's just come out of a bad hangover. And he looks at you and he goes, "Oh, you three look mighty funny for a cat's. Wait, nope, I don't see any tails. You're not cats, are you?"
No, I'm Dax.
And he just like holds his head. He's like, "Ah, God, you're shouting." He says, Stop the shouting. Wait, there's something I'm supposed to do here. That's right. I have to mug you now, because you're in my alley. This is Danny John Jules' alley. And in Danny can't say his name tonight. He's having a little bit of trouble. But in my alley, in John Jules' alley, John Jules rules. He kind of looks up as he realizes he rhymed. He's like, "John Jules rules. It's pretty good."
Could you say it 3 times fast?
He says, John Jules rules. Danny John Jules. Stop it. He says, "Listen, just enough of that. We're gonna take all of your money now. All of your money. Empty your pockets. Put it on the ground. Then get out of my alley."
That's really funny.
I grab the very bottom of my pockets and pull them out. Like,
he looks at you, Osric, and then he looks at you, Willow, and he's like, "Well, what about Dax?"
We're all on the same boat here, unfortunately.
We're not in a boat.
Dax,
this is an alley.
Dax looks at Osric and Willow and goes, Now can I?"
Oh, by all means, fight.
Okay.
All right. If you're ready to fight, let's roll some initiatives.
No.
I have no charisma, so I can't talk my way out of this.
Shoot, I forgot to check what my initiative was. How do I do that again?
Oh, it's Dex, unless you have any modifiers.
All right. Oh God.
Maybe should have given myself advantage on initiative there.
All right.
So we're rolling initiative?
Roll initiatives.
I can find a D20. Yeah. There it is.
All right.
Oh.
For
John.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you want me to constantly update my AC whether or not I'm using my shield?
No, just let me know.
Okay. Because that is 16 is without the shield.
Okay, so 18 with a shield. Got it. For those who don't play D&D, AC is what we have to roll to hit. That's if I roll that number, it'll hit Osric.
Yes.
When I try to attack him. So for now, this guy's, like I said, he's kind of reeling from a little bit. Danny John Jules, he's feeling a little bit under the weather of his own doing. So he gets pretty slow right now. He got a 5 for initiative. So who got the highest?
I only got a 10.
I got 21.
I got 3.
So Dak, you are wow. Okay.
Dak is ready to go.
Yeah, Osric really doesn't want to fight. So Dak, it's
I
your
want Dak to do it for me.
it's your go here. You're in a pretty narrow alley. You know, you can stand side by side, but there's a bunch of garbage and refuse, and then there is a half ogre about 10 feet in front of you.
I forgot to ask. We have like normal like weapons loadouts for this, right?
Yeah,
I have a great axe. Okay, cool. I just pull out my great axe
weapons
and just charge in and attack.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack roll.
My 1 attack roll because we're level 2.
Yes, your 1 attack roll.
All right. To hit, it is a 17.
That does hit.
Oh, all right. And then since I'm using a 2-handed axe, which is surreal to think about, I need
I mean, most axes are 2-handed.
Yes, 16 slashing.
16 slashing damage?
I maxed out my D12.
Jeez. Okay, describe that mighty hit.
So basically, like, he's kind of sitting there going like, oh, my head. And I sit there and go, okay, now we can fight, right? And so I charge in and just, like, right down the middle, straight into his, like, shoulder, I slash him. Full, like, strength behind it.
Gotcha.
Probably before most people are even really prepared for what's happening.
And it turns out like he's wearing some some shoulder pads, so it doesn't just cleave him in two, but like you break his favorite shoulder pads. Those were like he's like those my mom made those for me, and also he's bleeding underneath them quite a bit because he also carved into his like he looks at his shoulder and he goes, my mom made that for me. and he is reeling backwards. All right, it goes to Willow next.
Okay. Then she was kind of startled by how fast Dax just like tore in there and is like, oh, okay, I guess we're fighting now. And so she is going to cast Chill Touch.
All right. So, describe what this kind of ends up looking like.
A really creepy kind of ghostly hand just, like, runs out and tries to grab him around the throat.
So he thinks he's just kind of, like, looking down the alley, he's like, do I really see that? Like, Johnny Jules ain't seen one of those in his home before.
Okay, so I got a 21 to hit.
Oh, yeah, that hits him straight in the face.
Sweet. And, that is 7 damage.
7. And he just, but it kind of wakes him up because like it's a cold slap. So
it's a cantrip level 1. I can't, what can I do?
So you strike him across the face with this like spectral ghostly hand, and he's like, "Ow!" And he's like, "Oh, there, I can see straight again." And he doesn't look so great. Like his shoulder's still bleeding pretty bad. But the first thing he sees, of course, is Dak in front of him, and he's been struck by Dak. So he reaches into the like one of the piles of garbage just to grab anything, and he ends up pulling up this like a discarded axe, and he's like, "Hey, cool, wow!" And then he goes and swings at you, Dak, with it. He gets a 17 to hit you.
Yeah, that hits.
All right, so he's like, I'm gonna give as good as I got, and he just takes a mighty swing to hit you for 19 slashing damage.
Ouch!
That's painful.
I am almost dead again.
No! Wow!
Oh,
So
I would be dead.
This is gonna be a real short one shot.
We got killed in an alley, guys. Good job.
So he's so ticked off that you came up and struck him, and he's like, "Oh, we're doing this now," and he just crashes this. It actually snaps the axe, like the axe just breaks as it hits you, and you kind of end up with this axe head like embedded in your shoulder as well.
So he gave as good as he got, essentially.
He gave as good as he got. And he's like, God, it's a real shame you don't have any money because usually I let people pay me off at this time, but not this time. And he's kind of forgotten the dwarf is there because Osric was just like not taking part. But Osric, it's your turn now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my warhammer with both hands, just kind of swing for the knees.
I will say that was a remarkably good roll on my part.
Yeah, I maxed out my roll, and you beat me by that by a few.
I got a 20 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
And 6 damage.
And this was with what again?
My warhammer.
Oh, okay. So yeah, describe your strike here.
So I just kind of like, he's totally focused on Dax, so I just like come in and just like gear up and just like baseball swing like right through his knees.
Yeah, he goes to dodge it and you hit him square in the nuts with your warhammer, and he's just like, oh god, that, oh, you hit Danny John and his jewels. Oh, and he kind of like stumbles around the alley, just kind of like limping limping with his knees sort of brought together. He's still alive. He's really not looking great. And it goes back to you, Deck. Do you say that?
Yeah.
Well, he's sort of, you can tell he's sort of debating it. Dak, it's your go though.
Dak potentially is having flashbacks to the owlbear. And going, maybe this was a mistake. So he's kind of looking around at Osric and Willow with like, do I keep attacking? Or do I start running?
What do you guys tell him?
Let him answer first. Maybe we can end this peacefully now that he knows he's bit off more than he could perhaps chew.
So he sees that you haven't attacked him, Dak, and Danny John Jules. He's sort of like rubbing the jewels, really like just vigorously. Don't think too much about that. He looks at Willow and he's like, "Could you use some of that cold stuff on? I could really use a hit of that cold stuff right now."
I could use a chill touch on my
chill touch on my jewels. He's like, the jewels are feeling a little warm. He sees that you're not attacking him, Dak, and he goes, he's like, well, this is quite a predicament. He says, and you can see he's like crying, like because of just the pain of this. And he's like, I'm not crying because you hit me hard. I'm really crying because I just feel for you guys. Like, broke and have no money, and this guy's a lot to feed. I can tell he's a lot to feed, and I mean, it's just makes me really sad.
Look, we were just trying to follow a cat, okay?
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I love cats. Good cats. Yep. You guys go follow that cat. Danny's gonna go. Look through this garbage, see if there's any like, I don't know what to put on this. Is there like icy hot something in here? I'm just gonna see what I got. He's like, yeah, you guys are pretty rocking. Pretty glad you didn't kill me there, because I think that last hit I can see you probably would have crushed my skull. And tell you what, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go this time, and maybe, yeah, well, maybe we'll see you again. Maybe we'll see you again sometime. Oh God.
So Dak pulls out the blade that's embedded in his shoulders, and he hands it to Johnny Jules. Goes, here's your blade.
And Daddy Johnny Jules kind of like, he still seems a little drunk, and now he's also in pain. So he grabs it. He got his eyes are in focus. He's like, oh, my mom made that for me. He's like, that's so nice of you to return it. He's like, God, I kind of love you. You're like the best.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah, we're great. Which way did that cat go, by the way?
I can't see straight. Why are you asking me? That's a tiny object.
We're in an alleyway. There's really only one way it could go.
You kind of, you think it ran off the other side of the alley. It didn't go back the way you came.
A little bit.
I don't know. Maybe we got turned around, mauling this hobo.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a blood loss situation going on right now.
So, are you guys leaving the family jewels here?
We'll move on.
Yeah.
As we walk away, I go, he was strong.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that.
I'm gonna let you guys go ahead a little bit. I'm gonna take a minute.
So you guys, Dak sort of bleeding out of his shoulder wound. Dak's sort of doing the should I have left that in there sort of thing. Like maybe I should have kept that in to hold the blood in. You guys are walking down, get to the end of the alley, and the black cat is sitting there, just waiting for you.
Are you going to lead us into more murderous hobos there, cat?
And the cat looks at you and says, "Oh, well, I am very sorry about that. That was a really foolish shortcut, but there really is very little time left, you see. I've been in such a rush. I haven't even introduced myself. And first of all, none of you have seen or heard a talking cat before.
Dak's oh God, I think I've lost too much blood. The cat's talking.
No, I hear it too. Willow, talking cats, that seems like an arcane specialty.
Yeah, not one I've heard of.
Yeah, well, maybe you haven't been listening in the right way. We cats can talk all we want. We tend to speak common better than you. But usually you are also boring to talk to. This is something that we don't often do. We don't often do it. But where are my manners? He says, my name is Scratches the Paw, and I'm so glad to meet all of you. I have a job for you. And you just looked like the perfect three for the job. Please, just follow me. We don't have too much further to go.
One of us is already mortally wounded on this job, so I have to ask, what remunerations can a cat provide for whatever job you would be asking us to do? Which again, my friend is already bleeding out because of.
He says, "Well, look, I can't very well be blamed for deciding to take on Danny John Jules. Well, everyone knows that Danny John Jules is best dealt with by a pleasant conversation and a hot cup of tea." And he just looks at you and he says, "No, I'm totally joking. I'm completely joking. Your fellow looks like a staunch fellow, but I do have to say that cats, we find things. We're very good at finding things, especially things that you humans drop. And you'd be amazed how much spare coinage is dropped around here. I believe." If you follow me, I can give you 20 gold pieces up front, just for hearing us out. And if you complete the job that we have, well, I have 100 more for you.
I mean, you are a cat. Are you sure you know the difference between a gold and a copper?
Well, yes, you're right. You're right. Color is a difficulty for me. I see what you did there. But I have the crows counted for this. They're definitely yes.
Well, this is getting weirder.
Okay.
Willow, is this a thing we should do? Dak's gonna say yes because there's a chance he could fight some more.
No, Dax right now is going how do you guys know what 100 is?
How big is 100?
Yeah,
Yeah, Dak, it sounds like a lot.
We don't have much of a choice. We have no money. We have no job prospects. This is an option. We can always walk away after we hear him out.
Okay. Okay, cat. Tell us your job. I'll take a job from a cat. I am not desperate.
Well, you
so I never go to the cities.
Just follow me. Just continue to follow me, please, please. Come this way. And the black cat runs across a narrow street, and he enters a small, just like warehouse. The windows have been boarded up, and it's just a one-story, just kind of warehouse. You're down kind of by the docks, so the whole thing's starting to smell like fish, and it's just kind of an abandoned warehouse that like probably once housed like boats. You think it even maybe empties out into the water. Everybody going in?
Yeah.
I'm going in.
All right.
I'm gonna touch myself
I'm
and
going
give
in
myself
last, though.
on initiative.
Well, yep. You guys enter the doors, and you enter into this kind of dilapidated space. It's a large room. Where just the walls are sort of rotted and smell like the sea. It does in fact open out into the water beneath you, but that's not what really grabs your attention. What grabs your attention is that there are benches, just tiered benches. They probably were benches and shelves, holding goods at one point. They're empty of goods now, but instead, crowding over every single bench is just hundreds of cats. Maybe not hundreds. That seems a lot, but let's say dozens. Let's say dozens of cats. Dozens of cats. And all the cats, I mean, they're various shapes and sizes and colors. They're all just sort of hissing and growling and meowing but they silence falls as you all enter, and Scratches the Paw strides up to the middle of the room, kind of on this little dock that like opens out into the water, and he turns and sort of addresses everybody. He says, "Oh, greetings, friends, and welcome to the Congress of Cats. I, as you know, am Scratches the Paw, and I am first speaker of this house. I ask the house now, do we welcome these outsiders?" And you hear like a lot of like, meow, 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 and then a few like, but there's more mews than hisses. And kind of Scratches sort of like looks around and he says, I hear that we may mew forward. Thank you very much. You all know why you were summoned this evening, but I must explain the situation to our honored guests. Friends, the Congress of Cats faces a grave crisis, perhaps our gravest ever. You see, our beloved king, Mulligan the Great, has gone missing, and we have been unable to find him. And there's like lots of like sad mews that just sort of like course throughout the room, just like meow, meow. You swear one of them goes Mulligan. He says, according to our immutable laws, if the king of the cats fails to attend the Congress for 3 nights running, he is stripped of his title and exiled forever. But this would be a disaster. I must tell you that tonight is the 3rd night that the king has been absent. And there's like very concerned mules, and like maybe some of the cats are making that sound that they look at when they see like an animal and they go, there's that weird kind of sound. Somebody coughs up a hairball across the room, just like, and there's everybody kind of moves away from that cat. Scratches the Paw goes on. We have searched fruitlessly for our beloved king, And so the Congress has authorized me to secure the services of a marvelous and talented adventuring party to assist us. We know that you big people like gold very much. Yes, we've talked about this. And as promised, just for hearing our story, I have a purse here. Would you bring it out, please, Aberforth? And a big, just like fat white cat just like waddles out carrying this purse and drops it at your feet, Osric. And if you pick it up, you'll see it does indeed contain 20 gold pieces.
All right.
These are yours. And Scratches says, now, we have another 100 gold says hidden away. If you are able to locate our king before the sunrise, and thus solve this most terrible, most heinous of circumstances. Will you help us?
I look at Willow and Dak to see what they're thinking.
Dak just sits down.
You sit on a cat, Dak, and it goes, scratches your ass a little bit and runs away.
Right, the blood. I tap you on the chest and return to you.
Yeah, we have a cleric in the party. Whoops.
4 hit points.
It cures the scratch on your butt.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I stand back up reinvigorated, like it healed me way more than that. I'm too like a little thick in the head to realize that all it did was like stop the bleeding.
All right. So the cats all kind of look at you expectantly, and as you're kind of standing there, like you're healing your friend.
While he's healing, I'll cast message and just talk to Osric and just be like, because clearly it's not worth talking to Dax.
It probably wouldn't even work on me.
Probably not. And just ask, like, look, that's a lot of money for one night's work. I mean,
so for those who don't play D&D, what Willow's using is message, which is kind of the Professor X spell. She's puts this and is telepathicing him.
It's almost like two minds connected, which is why it doesn't work on deck.
I message back like, yeah, I just feel like talking cats, there's going to be something weird about this. Like, we got to be careful.
And as you guys are sort of like talking back and forth, two Siamese cats come out of the crowd. And it's sort of they like jump down from some of the higher shelves onto the benches and walk up to you and Scratches, who's nearby you guys, and they say, "Well, now look here now, Scratches. Well, this is our case. This is a case for we've been working the king's disappearance for a good 3 days now, and we just want to say like we're a little peeved off. I mean, it's all right. We're all friends here. But we're a little peeved off that you're giving our job away. You know,
he's not giving your job away. He's just getting some assistance, some heavy lifting. Yeah, do the heavy lifting for you, like literal lifting, because you know you're cats. You can't lift things.
I think I should be offended at that. But you know, I'm pretty good natured. So I'm gonna just say that's it. You know, that's all right. I'm gonna take that as a compliment. Somehow, I'm gonna just work it around in my brain now. It works out. But yeah, I my point still does stand. I mean, you know, yeah, they can do some heavy lifting, but I feel like we should be on this case. I mean, this is a whiskey and rye case, really. And at first you think it's like some kind of phrase, but then Scratches says like, our two best detectives here are whiskey and rye. Whiskey and rye are they've done a phenomenal job of not finding the king.
Well, what have you learned so far?
You can't tell which one's whiskey and which one's rye because they look very similar. But one of them turns to you and says, "Oh no, see, there's a right, like, she's a smart lass. She knows to ask questions of those who have the information. Yeah, I'm pleased to say it. Talking to me now. We've learned that the king is missing. That's definitely happened. That's definitely happened. That's happened.
Start.
Happened about 3 days ago.
Okay.
The thing is King doesn't do much. That's what this is that's be a real rocker of a case. Like we've really struggled with this one because the king usually just kind of sits in here and sleeps a lot. It's hard being king, and we kind of were surprised when he wasn't here one day. Been missing ever since. But I mean, yeah, good question.
No hints of forced entry or like where he went. No missing fur chunks or blood or picked locks.
No, only person who's bled in here recently is your friend there. We ask you to clean all that up before you go, please. It does attract the wrong kind of sorts. This is a nice place. It's a nice place. I can say, I mean, we haven't quite got around to checking all the spots the king could have gone. I mean, he does have some enemies. King's got enemies. That's part of being a king.
Like what or who?
Well, there's the rat boss. Rat boss has been his mortal enemy for many years. Now I know that rat boss sounds like something that would be for a He-Man episode, but this is kind of like it really is like. I mean, she's a right vicious one. That rat boss. She's a nasty piece of work.
Is she a rat?
She's sort of like a human. Did you say a human that can like turn into a rat and talk to the rats? Kind of one of them scary were-rat creatures. She's just kind of a rat piece of work. Yeah. There's also the Warlord. The Warlord. He used to be an enemy. Oh, but and then the other cat speaks up. Yeah. That used to be, but he recently concluded a treaty with him, didn't he? Yep. They made peace.
How long ago was that established?
Oh, that was not too long ago, was it? Was it, Why? Oh no, Whiskey. It was pretty recently. Pretty recently, I think. We don't have a great sense of time being cats. Like I mean, 3 days is about all I can remember. It was longer than 3 days ago, but not like 7 years kind of thing. It was more like a little bit past 3 days kind of deal. We don't keep calendars.
Okay. We have nothing to go off of here.
Anybody else that you might think of? Also, do any of these people have names that people besides cats use? I mean, I'm not going to go around asking people where the rat boss is.
Oh, well, you don't need to ask people where the rat boss is. We know where the rat boss is.
Right.
Okay, where's the rat boss?
He kind of just looks back and forth between you. It's like, yeah, that's a right good question. Right good question there. Rat boss, she's got a current hideout. There's a little abandoned shack at the corner of Rock Edge Road and Abbey Way. So basically, as a party, you can now travel, if you wish, at any time to the rat boss's hideout. So you can just you can say, we're going to the rat boss hideout, and I will take you there.
What about the
magic? The magic of imagination.
Where is Warlord?
The Warlord. Now, that is a tricky one. He usually don't really have a fixed residence. He usually sleeps in an alley with his henchmen.
Oh, is that the Jules guy?
Do you mean Danny John Jules?
Yeah, is that guy? That's the guy that we just saw.
That's a drunk half-ogre who nobody messes with because he can knock your head off with one blow.
Well, he could try.
I go, no, he can't. Proof standing right before you.
All the cats look at you, and like all of them, like all the cats' heads turn in the room, turn to look at Dak.
I look at him like it would have taken at least 2 blows.
He said, "Well, that boon as it is, that is not the Warlord. No.
Well, should we go see this rat boss, folks?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the obvious one, but do we want to like officially roll out the Warlord? Because that could be a red herring too.
And Rye then speaks up too. He says, "Also, you might want to go see the Wayside Oracle. She usually is begging down on Copper's Road. At Wayside Oracle, she was good friend of the king. Good friend of the king. We've been trying to find her for a couple days. Just luck of the draw. Haven't found her. Been busy."
So I don't think Dax has really any input for this.
I mean, maybe, yeah. I guess we could try going after the Oracle.
Yeah,
first.
We could take on the Oracle first. Yeah.
Any more information? Because I feel like these cats just aren't quite. They're not very helpful.
Yeah, scratches DePaul can kind of see your hesitance, and he's like, "Oh, that was very good, Whiskey and Rye. Why don't you go search for the king some more? Yes, that's good, lasted lad."
They could join us. I mean, I don't want them to feel like...
He says, "Oh, absolutely not. Nope, that's a terrible idea. But you know what? This is too important. I will join you on this one." And he kind of gestures to you to lean down a little bit, Osric. And he whispers in your ear. He's like, "You don't want them along with us. They'll draw half the city down on us. Trust me on that. I'll show you around."
This is the strangest day I've had in a week.
In a week. Ever since Dak punched that owlbear.
Yeah, honestly, you're not wrong.
All right.
Let's go find the Oracle. I guess.
You guys have a few options. You can go trying to hunt down the Oracle. You can go search for the Rat Boss or the Warglord, or if you have another idea, you can try to pursue that.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Oracle first.
Part of me's leaning towards the Rat Boss just because we know where she is.
Yeah, but that could just generate a ton of combat, and then find out that's not actually where they didn't have anything to do with it.
Also true.
Mm-hmm. And Dax is not looking so hot. I'm just saying.
Dax is it's always good to start with someone's friends before you start with someone's enemies.
That was surprisingly wise.
Yeah. Everyone stops, looks at him, and he's like, "What? Did I say something?"
All right, let's go find this Oracle.
All right. So, you guys are back into the city here.
When we get out in the street, I'm be like, "Do you guys think that some of those cats were a little, I don't know, dumb?"
I mean, they are cats.
Different levels, different degrees of intelligence, Dax.
Too many of those cats weren't saying meow. That's stupid.
Okay.
and Scratches is right in front of you as you're saying all this, and he's like, "Well, we don't just walk around saying, do you know that meow is actually a something we've come up with just for communicating with humans. It's not really something we like to do to each other very often."
The entire time, Dax is just shaking his head with this look of "See, that's what I'm saying. It's so stupid."
Scratches just focuses on leading you to the Oracle. So you guys end up, and Osric, you know the city better than the others. You end up. We can actually look a little bit on the map here. I'll point it out. There's a river that runs through Neverwinter.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys end up at the Copper. What is it called? The Copper's Road, which is sort of down in the tower, across the river from the Tower District. So right in these kind of jumble of homes over here, and you know it to be it's not as bad a part of town as the one you were in. But it's pretty much a poor part of town. There's the street is pretty busy. I mean, the cats, when you were brought to the Congress of Cats, it was afternoon. So you're heading into the late afternoon. So you don't have a ton of time to complete your mission and find the King of the Cats. Actually, I'd say it's even drawing on to evening. these are like the fall months. So evenings coming faster than usual. That said, the streets are still busy, full of sailors, artisans, tradesmen, and paupers, all looking for something to ply their trade or a place to stay, or there's some suspicious dealings going on that you kind of try not to get too involved in as you follow Scratches to Paw through the city streets. Do you guys have anything you want to talk to Scratches about as you go, or do you just want to follow him?
I ask him, like, what was the king's, like, attitude in the days leading up to his disappearance? Did he seem, like, concerned at all about anything? Or was there anything that was on his mind? Or...
I said, I did try to tell Rye and Whiskey that the king wasn't incredibly satisfied with the deal he'd made with the Warg Lord. The wargs can't be trusted. We all know that. The dogs can't be trusted. And the king was, it weighed heavy on his mind, I think. He was agitated, pacing back and forth in our little congress there. And then, then he was gone. And around this time, he says, we're in luck. There she is. And he shows you across the road. There's like a bunch of people crossing the road, but between them, as there's a space in the crowd, you see a old female gnome, dressed in a mismatched outfit with kind of like crazy wild hair. She's missing an eye, and she's replaced it looks like with a big old screw, like just a giant old screw. And like.
Pleasant.
She seems to be okay with it. And around her are several just bags of this like junk, and like she keeps reaching into them and like pulling out various things. Like some she's tinkering with. Every once in a while, she reaches into the bag like and pulls out some kind of food stuff, which she'll like stuff in her mouth. He says, Scratches seems very proud to have found her. There she is, our lovely oracle.
Okay. Let's go ask her some questions.
All right, you go ahead, Willow.
Willow is just very, like, overwhelmed and just like, I'm hallucinating. This is, like, the worst nightmare. I'm just, like, she thinks she's still, like, dreaming from her trauma of, like, losing their companion, and it's just, like, I don't even know what's happening. Okay.
This is actually, you're playing, it's purgatory. It's like Lost. Like, this is just purgatory. At the end of the game, we'll find out it was all really dark, like commentary on your characters, inner turmoils.
There you go.
Dak is actually a really intelligent man who's like been cursed in purgatory.
No. Dak is just leaning into his major character flaw, which was anger issues.
There we go. This is therapy. It's good therapy for Dax. It's called the old axe in the shoulder therapy.
Yeah. Really cuts to the problem.
So you guys, or Willow, I guess I'm kind of picturing Osric and Dak just don't follow you across the street, and like Willow goes by herself. So this is a Willow scene. Willow and Scratches kind of go up, and Scratches says, let me make introductions. Oracle, so good to see you again. I've brought a guest, someone who's heard of your greatness. And the old gnome looks up and says, Is that Persnickety Snatch? And he says, no, it's Scratches. Scratches. Oh, Persnickety, it's so good to see you again. You're very late. Have you only now found an adventurer to help us? We have only a few hours left before the king is lost forever. And Scratches is like, well, yes, it was, it was not as easy as you seem to think. Most of the adventurers don't really want to pay attention to a cat, but these three were different. They were perfect for the job.
Different as you look at Dak, and he's just sitting there going like,
And the gnome looks up at you, Willow, and says, "Well, let me have a look at you." And she closes her good eye and just stares at you with the screw. She says,
Okay.
"Ah, you're very pretty."
Thanks. I'm not sure how that helps. Do you have any advice as to where potentially this king went missing, or any? Are you aware of any weird situations around his disappearance?
Oh, the Cat King came to see me 3 nights ago.
Ah.
That was the last time I saw him. He wanted my advice because I'm very good at giving advice.
Fantastic. What advice did you give him?
Well, for you, I would say that we need to get some kerfuffison in your hair to keep it so shiny.
That is not what I asked.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about other things. What did you ask?
Yeah, what was the conversation that you had with the king 3 nights ago?
Come closer. I can't hear you up there.
Okay. What was the conversation that you had with the king 3 nights ago?
Oh, yes. And she starts rubbing some stuff in your hair as you're down there. Like, she just grabs your hair and starts massaging it with some kind of grease. And she's just kind of toying with it. And she says, "Oh, yes. He wanted such beautiful hair. He wanted my advice on a recent treaty with the Warg Lord, which had caused some amount of disquiet amongst the cats. I told him he should persevere. We all have such beautiful hair. This is really nice. Now, don't wash this out. It'll smell a little strange, but I promise it'll have a luster tomorrow like you wouldn't believe."
Thanks. Could you finish the topic about the king and the wargs, and why was he concerned about that? And
Well, the treaties, no one's ever attempted a treaty between the dogs and the cats before. It's very, like that's classic stuff. We don't really mess with those two. But the king, he had a real vision for how this could work, and I had a vision too, a vision of glorious days ahead for both the dogs and the cats. Or everything burning around us. I can't tell which one's real sometimes. One of those two. But I do think if the Cat King does not return, then it'll be the latter. There will be burning. And I'd hate for you to lose all your hair in a fire.
Is her hair now flammable?
Well, it is covered in grease.
Oh god.
I like your questions. You should ask more questions.
I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Do you want some popcorn? I have popcorn in one of these nights.
Don't trust that pop.
She kind of looks across the street. She's like, she says, "Oh, when you do go back to your fellows, put this on your big friend's shoulder." And she hands you a moldy steak. And you've kind of heard of people putting cold meat on like wounds before, but this one's warm. It's got some maggots in it.
That's probably not the worst idea. Because it's Dak, so who the hell cares?
She says, "Listen, you tell him, you put that on his shoulder, and the answer will come to him."
What was the question?
The question's inside the meat.
Okay, I just want to metagame for a second. I think we should do this. I think it sounds hilariously like a good idea.
I'm torn between well, it's like that classical fantasy thing, but juxtaposed, right? Like, she's actually an oracle, and everything she's saying is going to be super helpful as long as we believe her and do it. But
I'm a meat oracle.
Die from poison in about 6 hours. It's fine.
Yeah, or he's going to get terrible diseases from putting maggoty meat on his wounds.
I put this out. This is a one shot, so who really cares? Oh man, I wish Dak was standing next to it because he would just grab it and put it on his shoulder and be like, "That makes sense to me."
She says, well, "You run along now, dear," and scratches sort of nods, and he says, "She's always got great advice, wonderful advice." And she gives him a little sardine, and he's really happy about it.
Excellent. So, Willow's gonna walk back to the group, and she's kind of holding the steak all awkwardly, and her hair is like covered in crap, and she's just like, I don't know what happened.
What did she say to you besides covering you with filth?
Is that a meal she gave you?
No, she wanted me to put it on your wound. That's all I remember of the conversation anymore. I don't know what happened.
As soon as you say that, Dak's like, "Oh, well, why didn't you just say so?" And puts it on his shoulder.
It sort of tickles a little bit, Dak, while you put it there. And you have it sitting there, and you can kind of feel things like moving around in it. And you kind of stand there for like a few minutes. Nothing happens. But Scratches seems to approve. He nods and says, "Yes, these things can take time. Well, shall we move on to our next lead while this magic works? It's prophetic stuff." So, Dak, you're going to need to find a way to secure that on there.
I will. Well, my shirt probably got ripped.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'll just go the barbarian route, rip the shirt off, and like have it tied into a bandage.
Okay, got it. You got it tied there. Let's where are you guys going next? Dak is just standing there with a slab of rotten meat on his shoulder.
I mean, I guess we go to the rat boss because...
Wait, you know what? This is the best part. Dak goes, "I think something smells funny. Is it your hair?"
Oh god.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You do look. You will notice. You look across the street, and the oracle's gone, along with all of her bags and stuff.
Okay, that's weird. That's weird. Okay, all right. Well, crap.
I love this so much. All right. What else did the oracle say?
That I'm not supposed to wash my hair until tomorrow.
So that's going to help us find the cat?
I have no idea.
All right, let's just go to the rat boss.
No, she'll regurgitate the information. That's about how lovely I feel about it right now.
She just vomits, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Word vomit salad. Yeah, about the conversation that she'd had with the king, and that he was worried about the alignment, and that she's prophetizing some horrible calamity if they don't get along, and this is concerning because she disappeared, and that's weird. So there may be something to this, and as much as Willow hates to admit there might be something to this, she's like, I don't. Okay, all right.
So I'm guessing Dak's the only one that seems to be okay with what's going on.
I'm starting to come around to it, but now that I've remembered that, my patron goddess is probably fond of cats, so you guys are heading out to see the rat boss?
I think so.
All right.
The Scratches seems a little nervous when you say you want to go see the rat boss, but he says yes, but I suppose it had to come to this sooner or later. And he goes ahead and starts heading you down that way. It's Rock Edge Road and Abbey Way, which is kind of buried in a similar district to where you are, but just deeper into it. It is a very destitute part of the city. Even the beggars and muggers don't really come here, but it's just kind of an abandoned part of the city. There was a fire here just earlier this year, and it burned out a lot of the buildings. There's like husks and and shells of buildings left, and you do come to one kind of like house. It's like a very narrow, just small 2-story terrace, which is a single entrance in the front. It looks pretty abandoned. I'll pull up a picture of kind of the area here. While I'm pulling this up, Dak, give me a Constitution save.
Sweet. Um, 15.
15. Yeah, you are actually okay. And what's more, you begin to get like a little bit of a niggle in your, I call it a niggle because that's the best way to feel the thing. It's not quite a tickle. It's not quite a nag. It's kind of a niggle. And it's happening in your brain. And you
feels like a maggot crawled all just like crawling up your brain.
And you get just like a little, there's like it's like there's a question that comes into your mind. And you're going, the question is sort of like you're getting a piece of it. And you don't know why you're wondering this question, but the question you're wondering is did the Cat King, that's all you get right now.
Okay, this is Dak, right? So the question doesn't happen in his mind, he says it out loud. He's like, did the Cat King
what? What are you talking about?
I don't know. I feel like there's more to that question, but I don't know. And then he shakes it off.
Right.
This is fine.
Well, Scratches says, well, this is the place. If you're ready to go inside, I suppose we can.
All right.
Is there a way to do this without immediately generating hostility?
Well, I'll tell you, like, you can see all the windows are really like not even like boarded up with windows. They're bricked up. They're just like, there's no windows. There is one door.
Great.
All right. I'll pull my shield up off my chest, and I'll go up and I'll just pound on the door.
You pound on the door, and like it sort of like just rattles in its frame, and like on the third or fourth pound, it just like kind of bangs open, as if it's just been like broken. You know, like you've broken the door a little bit. It's very, very beaten, and here you are. You are in an actual battle map here.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
So it's a very small space. When you go inside, like it looks like most of this place has been just completely, like it might have been bigger at one point, but like a lot, like the walls, probably this burned away, and like it looks like bricks have been used to sort of like shore up some of the damage. So what's left is this really kind of tiny enclosed space with a set of stairs leading up and through the ceiling of this first room. You notice it's very dark. So do any of you have dark vision?
No.
Nope.
I have dark vision of 300 feet.
Yay!
Okay. So Dak, you're standing there in the dark, seeing just very little just from the light. I mean, the evening is setting, so like there's not much light left from the outside. Willow, it's very dark. Osric, do you have any kind of light spell or anything you can help people out with?
I do have a light spell.
I debated taking a light spell, but I took message instead.
I'll go ahead and touch the meat, and I will make that generate light.
All right.
Don't touch my meat.
The light.
I touched it. I made it glow.
So this is incredible. The light is casting all over this room now, but you can see wiggling going on all over, just giant shadows of wiggling worms and crap because of the light that's emanating off the meat and shining their shadows onto all the walls. You've just created a Lovecraftian horror scene.
Thanks.
Out of the meat on Dak's shoulder.
What?
Rushing. Or sorry, not rushing. There's droppings, is what you can see everywhere. Just droppings all over the floors, and that explains the smell in here. It just smells like animal droppings and kind of old burnt wood.
Well, this is gross. Let's go up, right?
Yeah.
Who takes point?
I take point.
All right.
Yeah, not me. I'm squishy.
All right. Kind of put yourselves in order here.
I'm in the back.
I'm squishy, but I'm hard to hit.
I am going to be right behind him.
Can you move?
All right. The stairs lead up, and then they sort of like it's an awkward thing where like to get up the stairs, like they go up, and then they actually go to like a wall, but like behind them the floor the room continues on the second floor, which I'll reveal. So as you're kind of figuring like, okay, I got to pull myself up through this hole, suddenly like Osric, like you have your head kind of peeking out through the hole. When you see, you hear a loud squeaking, and 4 huge rats are rushing towards you over the dark floor. It is time for some initiatives. I'm going to put them right here. Move those around.
13 for Willow.
Right. 17 for Tyler.
I got a crit 20.
Nice.
I wasted my crit 20 on initiative.
The rats
I wasted my advantage on... I was like, I'll be able to heal Dak before he does something stupid.
Willow, what was yours?
13.
13? Yeah, the rats are definitely going last. So go ahead and I believe Dak, you're gonna be first up. You could, maybe Osric is called down or is what I imagine's happened, so you're aware of what's going on.
Yeah, as soon as I saw them, I'd be like, hey, friendlies, we're just here to talk. You don't need to murder us.
And they're squeaking and rushing at you like hungrily.
Time to fight. They don't. Yeah.
Dak, it's definitely possible to like pull yourself up into this second floor and get past Osric and just kind of stand in front of him. These are really, really tight quarters, but you can do that. And you'll have 4 rats facing you, but.
Can I pull Osric down without hurting him?
Yeah, as an action, you would take your action, but you could kind of like grab him and move him next to you or pull him out of there.
Because it'd be better if we're all facing these rats instead of just, one-on-one.
Perfect. Do you want to grab him?
I'll be like, get out of there. You don't get hurt.
All right, he pulls you here, Osric, just kind of like takes you down and like puts you off to the stairs. You can still move, Dak, if you'd like, so you're not like letting them all come at you.
I'll just move back so that we can kind of like surround them.
Okay, perfect. And it goes to, I think Osric was next up?
Yeah.
All right.
I am going to touch Willow on the shoulder and say, may Blessed Selune guide you, and give her guidance. So you have a D4 for attack rolls, ability checks, or saves.
For how long? Or just one roll?
For, I think, a minute.
Okay.
Until you make that one roll.
Oh, okay.
And it feels kind of interesting being like blessed by the goddess Willow. It's like you feel like a hand kind of steering your actions.
Oh, just an ability check.
Okay,
so never mind. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, okay. Oh. No!
He didn't do it, and the gods were like,
the gods did not like
don't
that.
you dare.
Not do that. Okay.
Don't you even. You don't get to pull your godly support. You don't get to question that.
Well, maybe
dare
now might
you.
be a good time to take a quick 2-minute break so we can get some water and wait for him to come back.
Yeah, we can take we'll take a couple minute break. Although I'll stick around and I'll keep
Sure.
chatting stuff and out.
Yeah,
let's go
I'll
to
stick with you because I'm good.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Pull up.
All right. Well, he's back. Never mind. Let's just go ahead and keep
Oh.
going.
Sorry
yeah,
about
let's
that,
keep
guys.
going. Let's
Sorry
keep going.
about that,
All right.
guys.
We'll take a break after this whole scene here after. But yes, but yeah, keep going. So we got.
So you're not gonna do that. What are you doing instead?
I am just gonna say I'm gonna move up to kind of cover the stairs, and I'm just gonna dodge with my shield out to try to kind of draw their attacks. Yeah.
All right. The goddess was really upset at you for pulling her. Like she's like, you called, and then you're like, never mind, and she's like, you woke me. I'm like, this was I was sleeping, and you called.
Bitch, you're always sleeping.
Did you just call me a bitch? I am a goddess. Okay. You're the next one. Next bad thing that happening to you. And Willow, it's your turn.
Okay. Can I see them?
No.
I can't see them.
They're up on the second floor, and there's like a ceiling in the way.
Then can I ready the attack for when they come down the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready.
What are you readying?
Well, I guess I'm gonna go with Chill Touch because I'm gonna try and hit them as soon as they come down the staircase.
All right. So a few things happen. I think the goddess was not kidding, because instead of these rats like running down the staircase, they just drop from the ceiling like onto your head, Osric, and you have like rats like crawling all over you. And basically what this does is it's just gonna first of all, Morganite's gonna get her attack. Willow's gonna get to make her attack.
Okay.
But other than that, it's gonna ignore your shield.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they're just gonna try to crawl all over you and kind of bite you. One might try to jump off you and go for Dak. I think I'll do that.
22
Put
to
that
hit.
here. Oh yeah, you definitely. As one's falling, you just from the air.
5 damage.
5 damage. All right. So one of them takes
weird
like
to be
you just.
level 2 again. I miss rolling like 40 damage.
So yeah, you just kind of slap your hand to start slapping rats as they fall.
It tries
a
to knock
rat
him
slap.
off, like as it goes for his face. It just like knocks the rat out away.
I'm gonna put these rats here so that I don't cover your character, but they're on you, Osric.
Yeah.
The one that got smacked kind of gets pushed off you, and so it goes for Dak instead. So Dak, this rat's rolling for you. It actually hits. That is it rolled pretty well. Let's see. That is a 21 to hit.
Okay.
So not only does it well, because I think it's drawn to the meat on your shoulder.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
And so it gets slapped, but either that or the cold slap just slaps it right in your face. It just goes right on your face. So this rat bites you for 4 damage. 4 biting damage.
All right.
Good thing I healed you, right?
Yeah. I start bleeding again.
And Osric, you've got 3 rats on you, and they have something called pack tactics, which means they get advantage if they're
it neutralizes because
you're dodging. That's
yes.
right. Thank you. All right. So basically, you're whipping around trying to get these things off, and they're trying to bite you and not be knocked off. And one gets a 13.
Doesn't hit.
There's 14. You have 16, right?
Currently, yeah.
All right. The other 2 get 15 and 11. So none of them get you. You're just smacking your shoulders and trying to keep them from biting you. All right. It goes back to Dak.
Something
and these are
tells me
big rats, by the way. These are like dog-sized rats. These are not like normal.
I can potentially hit it without too much difficulty.
Yeah, Osric looks like he's wearing a cloak of rats. Okay. They are all over him. He's being attacked by poodles.
I attack the one that's on me.
All right.
That is 17 to hit.
Yes.
And I should have had these ready. Sorry. All right. Let's see. 15 damage.
Describe how you kill this rat.
So basically, it's like it bites at my face, and I just pull it off, and it's like a baseball swing where I pull it off, pop it up, and just cut it in half.
I like that too because it is poodle sized. So you just throw this like small puppy in the air and then just cut it in half, and it even makes kind of a confused like sound as you just cut through it. All right, are you moving on your turn? You staying where you are?
I'm still within reach of hitting them, so I'm not gonna move. I don't think.
All right. Osric, a rat is just splattered against the wall next to you, and it's your turn.
All right. I saw what he did, so I'm going to try to do that to one of the rats on me. But I rolled a 5.
Describe how this fails. I love the idea that you're like, Dak did it. I could do it.
So they're running around, and I like grab one by the tail, and like another one like nips at my hand, and I'm like, gah! And like I go to grab another one, and I realize I'm holding the warhammer, so I just kind of like chunk myself in the shoulder, and I'm like, ugh! So I just kind of end up fighting myself.
I think at one point you grab it, you're like, gotcha, and you pull, and it's your beard.
My beard's not that long. It's actually very similar to this beard. Like it's a pretty short beard for a dwarf.
Gotcha. So you grab one and pull, and it's holding onto your beard.
Yeah.
Just like, oh god, my beard got longer.
And I'm just like, God damn it! I am sorry, Selune. Please forgive me for my transgressions and my curse words.
And she's like, all right, it's cool, dude. She's like, I don't hold grudges. If gods held grudges, the world would be destroyed so many times over. She's like, it's cool. I appreciate your apology, though. And I think just remember, don't anger the gods, don't run with scissors, and don't take candy from strangers. That's the goddess's advice for tonight.
Goddess out.
Goddess out.
You're a liminal traveling goddess, Isn't giving candy as a stranger my job?
Don't push me. And it goes to Willow.
Okay, well, Willow's gonna try and attack the one on his beard.
Nice.
It's weird, and she's sympathetic to like hair damage right now. That is a 11.
That actually doesn't hit. Yeah, instead you smack Osric in the face a little bit. It doesn't do any damage, but like you just kind of like punt him in the face with the palm of your cold hand.
We're doing very well, team. Good job.
One of the rats, though, I will say, like the rat that was on his beard, like drops and does come running for you, Willow. It stays within everybody's 5 feet range, though, so there's no opportunity attacks. And it's gonna try to bite you, Willow. Within 11 probably does not bite you.
No.
The two on you, Osric, are still. You're not dodging anymore, right?
No, I took an action.
Okay. They are. Another one's going to jump off and go for Willow. Kind of maybe drawn to this wonderful smell in her hair. They just love it. They want it so bad. It gets a crit. So it jumps up. It gets right into your hair and just starts like clawing madly. And you can see like it wants your hair bad. It actually kind of gets stuck to the tar that's in your hair. And so now you have this rat in your hair just clawing madly to get free. And it's a bad scene. It's blood and tar everywhere. It is a total of 8. That is 8 damage.
Ow.
Osric, the other one's staying on you. He gets a 14 to hit, so he misses you.
Haha, chainmail for the win.
Oh, man. Dak, Give me a Constitution save.
We're gonna die, guys. We're gonna die to rats in a warehouse.
24.
It wouldn't be the first time.
24. You are fine, and another little niggling question comes into your brain, and it's like, does the cat lord have an enemy of? And you're just like, what is this question? It's not coming to me all the way.
I get it. I repeat. I'm like, it's immediately coming out of my mouth. Like, instead of, I don't internalize it. I'm just constantly like in the middle of the fight. I'm just like, does the cat lord have an enemy of?
We're just like, what, Dax?
and all right,
Spit it
keep
out.
going. It goes to your turn now.
I smack one of the ones that are on the willow, because it's like right
Yeah, I've got
next to
one
me.
in my hair and one by my ankles.
Yeah, I just smashed the one by your ankles.
Okay.
Like, it's like I just bring the axe down to see if I can hit it.
Make a roll.
That is 19 to hit.
19 does hit, definitely.
And 9 slashing damage.
9 slashing damage. He is still alive, but you just bashed crap out of one of these rats. It's the one in her hair, and it just knocks it loose, and it falls down to the ground, just kind of twitching a little bit before getting back up.
Okay.
Whoops.
All right.
It's not that big. All right. It goes to Osric again.
I'm gonna try to kill the weakened one. They just got attacked by Dak. I don't hit with a 8.
so you step
I
forward.
sort of feel like I'm still in the mythological penalty box.
So yeah, you said as soon as you're gonna hit, what that rat that's still on you just drops its like hands over your eyes and like a sort of like, guess who came? And you know the answer, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's Willow's turn.
All right, I'm gonna try and go after the one that Dak already hit.
All right.
Which is down next to me. I'm actually gonna reach down and hit it with shocking grasp.
Ooh, nice.
Which is a 15 to hit.
So describe what this looks like. Your hand just kind of turns into a lightning bolt.
It starts kind of like you see like purple and white kind of light start kind of scaling across it real quickly, like just starting down from my elbow, kind of going right up to the fingers, and then into the rat.
And this is the injured rat?
Yeah, this is the injured rat.
All right, roll some damage.
That was a 4.
This rat, when all that energy goes into it, it sort of like quivers and then just like explodes in just a messy pile of rats.
I am covered in rat blood now. Excellent,
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, you can't. And since you had to reach down to do it, like your face is right there.
Oh
So
my
it's
god.
like,
Mistakes were made.
and then the rat still in front of you is going to try to bite you. Oh, because you're down at its side. It gets a 19 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
4 more damage.
Oh my god, guys. I'm real hurt.
What are you looking at?
I got 5 hit points left.
5 hit points. So it just reaches up and kind of starts scrabbling at your neck, trying to like pull you down.
God.
And there is Osric. There's still this one on you, still trying to bite you, still struggling to do so, but it crits finally.
Oh my gosh.
It's got its hands over your eyes. You can't see, and you feel this sharp pain in your neck as it just digs fangs into your neck. Not as bad actually as Dax hit. You don't have meat strapped to your shoulder. That's probably why. Only 5 damage. Dak, you see shit just going bad. Shit is going wrong. Yeah, give me an intelligence save real quick.
Me?
Yeah, or not save, a check. Intelligence check. Yeah, Dak. Intelligence Dak.
Don't think that's a good idea, but all right.
That's why I love it.
11.
There's something's kind of bugging you about the questions that have been asked, but you don't know what it is yet. So keep going.
I smack the one that is attacking Willow.
All right.
I do that with 19 to hit.
Yep.
And I do 15 points of damage.
Oh, describe how you killed this rat.
It's on her face.
Yeah, it's kind of like reaching up and like grabbing her cheek with its jaws.
See, Dak is a smart guy, so he's like, you know what? I know how this works. So I pull it off and baseball swing it and cut it in half.
Nice. You've solved the rat riddle here. You know how to kill a rat.
Like just it's all about the swing.
All about the swing. There it is. All right, Osric, you've got this rat just dug bangs into the back of your neck.
All right. First, I look over at Willow and say, "Don't be glum, chum. The moon provides." And
as there's a rat buried into the back of his neck, he makes this very charming statement to you.
Yes, and you get 6 hit points back.
Yay!
As I quickly run out of spells.
We've only got like 2 spell slots. Oh my god, this is the worst.
And then I try to kill the rat that has finally struck me. And I finally strike a rat with a 20 to hit.
Nice. You hit it. And what kind of damage do you do?
8 damage.
Okay, it's a pretty good hit. It actually you manage to grab it and just kind of like throw it down in front of you and warhammer it. Mm-hmm. And it's still alive, but it's off of you now.
Yeah.
And Willow, you see it twitching there.
Yep, I'm gonna chill touch it. I've learned my lesson. I'm not gonna reach down and touch anything that might explode in my face.
All right.
Yeah, I know that was pretty terrible. 19 to hit.
Yeah.
Wow, max damage, 8 damage. Woo!
Oh, so describe how this thing dies.
Yeah, so she's seen a lot of this tail grabbing and chucking of rats, and so she's gonna do it too. She, like the chill touch goes, grabs the tail, swings, and chucks.
Nice. So the touch actually slams it up into the wall, and it's also cold at the time, so it shatters, like a nitro, liquid nitrogen thing, just all over the place. All right, you guys. There doesn't seem to be any more combatants for now, so we're out of combat. Are you proceeding back up the stairs?
I keep saying things out of my mouth.
Yes, you do. Very observant, Dak.
That's how words work.
That is, in fact, how words work.
And keep going.
Yeah, but I don't want those words to come out of my mouth. They just come out of my mouth.
Usually, when you don't want to have words come out of your mouth, you just don't say them, Dak.
I don't think it's my words.
That is weird, and that's going to trigger something.
And as he says this, one of the maggots comes out of his mouth and falls down onto the ground in front of you.
Oh!
Oh god! Oh god, no! Oh god, no!
No. So wait, Dak goes, oh, it's not my words, it's Dad's words.
So it's the meat. The meat is speaking through. The meat actually works. Wow.
All right.
This is strange.
Stranger than the talking cats.
All right. And yeah, are you guys moving upstairs?
We leave or we go up.
We don't have a lot of options if we leave. I think we just got to keep going.
Right.
Yeah, and Scratches is kind of behind you now. Like he kind of ran off when the rats came, and he's like,
"Thanks for the help, buddy."
He's like, well, I'm old. I don't really participate in such adventures. I mean, that's why I hired you 3. I thought there was two of you for a minute because one of you had maggots falling out of him. I thought he was dead. But you're okay. I see now. So let's go upstairs. Yes. You lead the way. You lead the way.
Oh my god.
All right. Are you?
I knock on this door.
You knock on the door. Nobody. Come in. No, nobody answers. Nobody answers. The door kind of moves again, though. It opens easily.
Okay, I open it and look into this new area.
Yeah, this new area has
also full of rats.
It is, but they're not like giant rats. What you see is it's like wrecked furniture, torn blankets, and like these dusty rugs that have all been pulled together into like a giant rat nest. The rodent smell is like making your eyes water. But there are like, you can hear little squeaking and movements. There's like baby rats just like in the nest.
Well,
like maybe, just like a bunch of baby rats.
Maybe not like a rat nest. That might be a bad plan.
There's also a door on the other side of the room.
Let's go.
Dak, give me another intelligence check. And a constitution save.
All right, intelligence check is 14.
Okay.
Constitution is 14.
Okay, so Dak, you suddenly smack your hands together and go, oh, you realize you were hearing the wrong question. You were just weren't quite listening hard enough. It wasn't the cat lord or the cat king that you were supposed to be asking about. It's the rat boss. The rat boss. You're supposed to ask the rat boss a question about where's her gnomish friend. That's the question you got to ask.
I really hope the answer is out on a mission delivering supplies.
Owlbear's involved.
Yeah, and you think it's probably a different gnome that you're supposed to ask about, not the oracle gnome. It's another gnome. But yeah, she's got some kind of gnomish ally. You're supposed to ask about this gnomish ally. The maggots have told you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
the maggots have told you.
Does that mean that I take the meat off?
You can if you think you're done.
I don't.
It's our only light source.
You said.
It is currently
our only light source.
Okay, so I just want to point this out. You said think, so that ruled that out.
Right.
So
Your
I'm not going to.
Dak's call on that.
I'm going to keep that on just because Dak is not going to think about this.
All right. So what's all happening? Somebody opening that other door?
I guess I will go and knock on this door.
A voice calls out. They're like, okay, if you're gonna invade my secret hideout, then you might not want to go around just knocking on doors. Like it's not like you've killed. I can hear you fought down there. I can hear you've come in. You're crunching some rats under your feet right now. I can hear them squeaking and dying.
I tried to avoid killing as many rats as possible.
I guess.
In fact, I killed 0 rats.
So the door opens and you're looking at a youngish woman, not certainly past her teenage years and into maybe her like late 20s. Still, for all that, she's kind of got a hard, wiry appearance. And with her, they're standing in like just a small room. Just a back room that's got like some ramshackle furniture and a tiny dirty bed. But there is like a gorgeous like wardrobe in here. And everything though, despite the gorgeous wardrobe, like it all feels like it was just kind of thrown together. Like everything here you think was just probably found somewhere and then dragged up here. Even the wardrobe, even though it's gorgeous, it's old. And she's just sort of staring at you with a hand on her hip and says, all right, well, what do you want? And then she looks past you and she sees the cat and she goes, scratches the paw. What are you doing here? You're not, you know better than to come here to my secret hideout, Scratches. That we had an agreement. You get out of here.
Out of curiosity, did you and Scratches have an agreement, or you and all the cats?
She says, me and all the cats. This is our turf. Cats don't come here. You brought this cat here?
No, he brought us. We're looking for his cat boss. It's missing.
And she just glares at Scratches and says, you know I didn't take your boss, Scratches. Don't you play coy with me. You know it was damn well it was those half orcs, the Stink Rock crew. You know that they did it. Don't even try to play coy with me. You're just using this as a chance to cut down some of my crew, which I think you did. You killed 4 of them. I don't like that.
To be fair, I knocked. I was very polite.
Yeah, you were very polite. That's true. That's true.
I asked the rats not to attack. They chose the path of violence, and now Blessed Salune guides them on the path to the outer darkness.
And some of
where
these
all rats go when they die.
Some of these other rats in the room, and they're like smaller, but they're also they're like people. They're like humanoid little rats, about the size, like a little bit bigger than the giant rats were. But they're standing on 2 feet. They wear armor and stuff. They have weapons. And they're sort of slink closer to you, Osric, and they're like, "Shall I shank him, boss?" And she says, "No shanking today. This is." She's like, "This is a big mess. Look, I don't have anything to do with this missing cat. You go find the Stink Rock crew. I'm gonna bounce."
Dex has a question for you.
Yeah. While this is happening,
the big guy in the back.
Dak pokes his head in and goes, "Hey, I've been meaning to ask you. And what was the question about her gnome friend?"
I like that. Even the player, you're getting too much into Dak.
I like that as the question. Hey, I have a question. It's what was that? Your gnome friend?
A little.
Yeah, I'm talking to the maggots.
a little maggot pokes its head out of your nose, Dak, and crawls up to your ear, and you suddenly remember. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to ask her where her gnome friend's hiding out.
Yeah, that I asked that.
And she kind of looks a little surprised at that, and she says, How do you know about Balink Sparkneedle? You're not supposed to know about him."
The maggots told me.
and she just freezes at that. And she's like, "You actually didn't know who that was, did you? I just did that thing where I gave you a name that you didn't actually know." That's just what happened, isn't it?
I knew you had a friend, and I asked you about the friend. I didn't know I don't know names.
Is your friend okay? He's got a glowing piece of meat strapped to his shoulder. It's kind of freaking me out.
He's very much not okay.
It's freaking me out.
We're gonna have to work on that later.
All right. I didn't tell you anything about Balink Sparkneedle. Let's bounce. And she suddenly just turns into a rat. And it runs off through a hole in the wall, and it's a split second later, all these rats are gone. Just everybody's gone.
Even the babies?
Yeah, the babies stick around. They're vulnerable and don't have the ability to protect or feed themselves, so they're still there.
It's just a nest full of babies, and we're just awkward. I guess we'll go.
Well,
in fact, you turn around and Scratches has a tail out of his mouth. He's eating one of the babies.
Well, that's not
sort of slurping it up.
That's horrifying.
What? I thought they were our hors d'oeuvres set out for us. Clearly, when you knocked on the door, you set up hors d'oeuvres.
That was not the case. Let's leave before you offend her by eating more of the rat children. And maybe you could tell us about this Stink Rock crew or this Balink Sparkneedle.
He says, yes. He says, Balink Sparkneedle. He's like, I'm surprised to hear that he may be involved. He's a well-known gnome. You know, us cats keep a tab on the gnomes. He runs a sideshow alley over at the Clockwork Carnival. He also says, but the Stink Rock crew, now them, haven't heard that name in some time. A sneaky group of half-orcs. I know where their old hideout is. But we are running out of time. He kind of looks up, and the night it's definitely approaching like night, like later evening. And he's like, so we should choose wisely. Choose wisely where we go.
I say we listen to the maggots.
and Scratches looks at you and says, Dak, would you please roll me a constitution check?
Dak's like, what's constitution? 19.
19. You are still okay.
I should probably take the meat off of me.
Some of the meat is like rotting, but like Dak seems okay. Like some of the meat is like falling off. Like during the fight.
Let's get out of here and you can take that meat off and then we can go find the gnome.
We're gonna go back to the main page here.
Yeah, gnome sounds like the best plan at the moment.
Alright, so once we're outside, I'm guessing Willow's like, you should probably take that meat off, and Dak goes, oh, okay.
Yeah, you take off the meat and you find that it actually does feel a little bit nicer with the meat off. Like you're kind of gonna miss it though. You're kind of there's a little bit of miss.
I'm a little confused, and
your meat like pauldron.
What I'm gonna miss is the voice in my head.
and a voice answers, "I'll always be here, Dak. I'll always be here for you."
Do you believe Dak?
Do you believe Dak?
I'm sad again.
All right.
Oh, God.
Where is your next destination?
The Clockwork Carnival, I guess.
Well, actually, let's take just a 5-minute break. I know Morgan wants to get some water.
Yeah.
I will still be here and stick around. If Tyler or Stalker will stick around, we can.
I'll be around.
I'll be back shortly. I need to get up a minute.
All right, 5-minute break, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and mute my microphone, but I'll leave. Everyone else.
Yeah, keep us up. We'll keep chatting now. We'll talk some D&D or RPG stuff. It's been going on. So, because Stalker, yeah, go ahead, Tyler. Oh, back. Okay, Stalker. So, because you started playing, was our Alignment May Vary your first game?
No, I had a group that played regularly, and we actually passed off who was DM a few times.
Got it.
Down when I was in Corvallis. And that was an awesome group. I learned a lot from them about DMing and different styles of like approach to storytelling and combat and things like that. It was really cool.
That's really interesting to me because I've never done a game with like a group DM where like you go from one player to the other being a DM. How did that work?
Wasn't one story. It was more of like we ran a story and then someone got busy and was like, I can't DM anymore. So someone's like, well, I have a story, and then they started theirs.
Gotcha.
So it'd be like multiple different games, but like each, like I think there was at least 4 or 5 different people that DM'd during our time together.
Okay.
Which is, I think, still atypical for a lot of groups. Like most people have like 1, maybe 2 people that DM consistently, and then everyone else just plays players.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely fits. I mean, I haven't played in quite a while. I played in like a one shot recently, and it's interesting. Like I think I actually prefer DMing rather than playing for me.
It's hard to give up the control because you want certain things in the game and then in the world.
Well, and I think for me, what happens is I like the more fun game for me is having to respond to 3 players throwing stuff at me. Like I actually really like that challenge. That improvisational challenge is what excites me. Because even like today's session, this is some behind the scenes stuff for people who have stuck around for our break. Today's session, I obviously I have a module that I'm running, but there's a lot of stuff in here that is just fly. It's just kind of spur of the moment because I'm watching how these characters interact, and we've kind of taken it in a goofy direction, which is great. I think we were all in the mood for kind of a goofy, funny game. And so
we needed something lighthearted after the last campaign. It's cool that, like, that's one of the things that can happen. I think people open a module if you're a new DM or you're wanting to get into D&D, it can be really, or RPGs in general, it can be really intimidating because you kind of feel like, it's a rule book. That's your first thought. Like when I first started DMing, I was like, I got to run this adventure a certain way. And then the more I played, the more I found that the real fun is like a single module can be 100 different adventures. Even if you don't change any of the plot or any of the main villains or battles, it's depending on just how you run it, can be really fun. So, or it can be really dark, or it can be really, crazy and out of control, chaotic, like just depending on what kind of you bring to it. So, for this, even like with the gnome character with all the hair and stuff like that, that's just off the fly. Like that's not written in a module. And I always try to encourage people, like try to DM sometime because and don't fret so much about doing it wrong, because there's not really a wrong way to do it. Well, that's the thing, is that I have played under now 5 or 6 different DMs and also ran a campaign myself once. And I have learned so many different approaches from that those experiences. Like you allowed a very player-driven story that evolved from their actions, where other people had a story arc that the players were thrown into, and they didn't always necessarily influence it that heavily because there are only small pieces in a bigger world, right?
Right.
And so it's almost like, things are ultimately going to evolve, in the story regardless because of the players, but how much they do can vary drastically from DM to DM. And also a lot of side efforts. Like one DM allowed me to be a blacksmith, so I would be working on things like nails and small little knickknacks just for a little side cash, and also advancing my skill as a blacksmith. I was like, that's really cool just to have that little side thing to do when we're not playing that I could still think about.
What has been in your gaming experience? What's been your favorite little side? What's been your favorite thing that you came up with as a player that a DM worked into the game?
Oh, that's tough. It's ultimately.
And if people on the chat have their own stories, post them, and we'll check them out too. If you have your own answers to that question,
I would say it's there's one that's my favorite, and that's Ruse's Wish.
You want to tell that? You want to tell that story for those who don't know it?
You allowed me to take my character's ability to cast Wish, an insanely powerful spell that can do so much, expand it beyond its parameters to save a large number of people and transport them away from a dangerous situation, sacrificing my character in the process, which fits so well with the moment and the way that the story had built up, because one of the people that he was saving was his own child that he just had discovered was his child. And that was such a lot of DMs might be like, well, that's more powerful than what Wish is supposed to be allowed. But you said, yeah, sacrifice yourself to pour everything into this Wish. It will, it'll work. That's the kind of DMing that, I like.
Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Because obviously I sacrificed that character, and it was a fun character to play, but that was such a great way to go out. That was such a great way to go out.
Well, and again, that's what I like about DMing is I love it's sort of like having your work like a story. You come into the table with a story in mind, and then you have people actively editing it because they're playing it, and the ideas get better. I didn't, it's not an idea I would have thought of, but then we end up with this great story about a character who sacrifices himself to save their child, which fit the character's arc because. Your arc at that time was, I don't do anything. You started that game with literally the flaw, I won't do anything that will endanger me. and you ended the game by sacrificing yourself. And that was just such a cool, it literally was a good closure for that character.
Evolution of the character story. Yeah.